Today, I'm going to show you guys how to dominate the meta with the brand new Jesmon deck for the BT10 format. Hello Digimon players and fans, welcome back to another Digimon deck profile and in-depth building guide video. We can all agree that Jesmon is one of the coolest characters in the Digimon world, as well as being a royal knight. And some of you guys who've been following me for a while know how much I love this Digimon as well. I've been hyping this brand new version of the deck for quite some time, and I'm super excited to finally show you guys what I came up with. With the introduction of the Jesmon Starter Deck, which gave us a full new Digivolution line of Jesmon and BT10 cards to power it up even more, Jesmon is without a doubt one of the best Tier 1 decks of the format. Now if you guys who are watching are new to the game or looking for a budget way to play Jesmon, I would highly recommend you guys to check out my Jesmon Starter Deck video guide first to learn the basics, as this video is actually intended for those who are more advanced and competitive players. We all know the old Jesmon was famous for bricking, but with all the new cards, the search power of this deck has been so much better and far more consistent. With more sistermons support, you can help cycle cards and options to set up for your combos later on. That's not all, we also got extremely powerful top hand cards, such as Jesmon X Antibody and Jesmon GX as well. Those cards let you go ultra wide with your board, loaded with all different kinds of sistermons to help you extend your plays or provide protection unlike any other. There are a couple of really cool combos for this deck, which I'll be teaching you guys how to play it after the deck profile as well. So let's begin by showcasing you guys what we have for today. Okay, let's begin with our Digi-Egg cards. We have the 4 copies of the BT8 Gurimon, which has an inheritable of when attacking, as long as our Digimon is 6000 DP or more, we get to draw 1 card. 4 eggs is really all we need. The draw power is great. We rarely push out from our raising as often, unless if we're going for a big combo plays anyways, which is why, once again, the 4 eggs is all good. Okay, so let's talk about our rookies. First and foremost, we have the good old BT6 Huckmon right here, and we have to play 4 copies of this card. He is your best searcher of the deck. He gets you 2 hits potentially by revealing the top 5 cards of your deck, and yeah, one of the best searchers, grabbing your resources, gathering the combo pieces you need, and that's really what this card is all about, and you're always going to be on playing this card no matter what. Now just before we continue with the video, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for watching and supporting the channel. If you're watching right now and still have not subscribed yet, then I highly encourage you to do so. That is because we got lots of Digimon deck profiles and videos coming for BT10. And while you're at it, turn on the notification bell so you guys can stay tuned as soon as a video comes live. Also, don't forget to give this video a like because it just greatly helps with the channel, and I really appreciate all the support. Then, for the other Huckmon, we have the BT7 Huckmon. Also very similar, but this one we mainly want to be Digivolving because it helps you cycle and search for your sistermons when attacking once again, revealing the top 5 cards of your deck when attacking, and you get to add all sistermons, which is going to be very valuable and very crucial to bridging and extending and playing more combos especially when you're trying to go wide with your top end effects as well. Last but not least, to sum up for the rookies, 3 copies of Solarmon. Jesmon's biggest weakness is one of the cross decks out there. Shoutmon cross, Blue Flare cross, those kind of decks are very, very strong, and being able to play Solarmon to stop these decks is one of the key counter factors that you definitely want to be including in this deck. And yeah, 3 copies. Some of you guys can juggle and bump this up to 4 if you guys really feel like you need to, and I would suggest taking out one of the inheritable Huckmons for that instead. That's it for all of our rookies. Let's talk about our level 4s. Very simple, 4 copies of the brand new Bao Huckmon from the starter deck. All turns extra 1k, super handy. You just want to play as many Huckmons as possible so then you can have more search targets when you are doing your searching. And also another 4 copies of the original BT6 Bao Huckmon once per turn when attacking. If you have a sistermon on play, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 DP or less. There's a lot of low-end DP Digimon out there in this current format. People do tend to go very wide, and being able to pop things with this effect is just very, very, very nice and super good. So that is all about Huckmons and the level 4s. Now let's talk about our level 5s. We have 4 copies of the brand new Savior Huckmon. You have to play 4 copies of this guy because when Digivolving, you can attack unsuspended Digimon for the rest of the turn. very, very good. But also inheritable, letting you play sistermons from your hand or trash when attacking once per turn as well. Just gives you so much value with this brand new Savior Huckmon. And of course, we also do have the one original BT6 Savior Huckmon. When digivolving, you get to play a Sistermon from your hand without paying any memory cost, but also mainly for its inheritable of unsuspending once per turn. If you have a Sistermon in play, is still super good and super strong for the Jesmon deck overall. But like we all know, this card is restricted to one simply because it's such a good effect, and who can imagine what's going to be like if we have access to 4 copies of this where our top end Jesmon can continue to unsuspend over and over again, which is going to be super strong. But anyways, that's the Savior Huck. Last but not least, to round up for the level 5s, I do have one Chimeramon right here. Chimeramon is just super good because you can always slide in any inheritables that you need for when digivolving, and also being able to DNA with 2 level 4s of any color is super good. And that is because a lot of times you'll be playing your Sistermon Xiaos on the turn and they cannot attack, but by DNA 2 of them together, you can actually even make an extra attack if you ever need to, and build a stack very differently with Chimeramon, which is going to be very helpful and useful in tech situations. So 1 copy is all we need. That's it for level 5s. Let's talk about for our level 6s. We must have the 3 copies of the brand new Jesmon starter deck. Like we covered in our starter deck guide video, he does Blitz. When attacking, you can play Sistermons from your hand, and also gaining extra 3000 DP and security +1 for the turn. Does a whole lot of things. He is your core boss Digimon you always want to be getting into for starters. And then bridging it along with some of our brand new BT10 cards included, we have the 2 copies of Jesmon X Antibody. He digivolves for 0 on top of Jesmon, but has always piercing, which is really good. Now, the very interesting and funny fact is that the DP of this guy actually goes lower from Jesmon. Jesmon regularly has 12,000 DP, and this guy only has 11,000. When digivolving, he does give you a lot of value, simply because he gets to play a Sistermon from your hand or trash for free. Then, if Jesmon is in this Digivolution sources, or if you have a Sistermon on the board, in play, until the end of your opponent's turn, all your Digimon can also attack unsuspended Digimon and get extra 2000 DP. Buffing them up is just super strong, and yeah, you always want to be bridging Jesmon X Antibody on top of your regular Jesmon for extended combo plays, which I will showcase you guys later. Then for our other level 6, we do have the one Gankumon X Antibody. He does digivolve for 1 on top of a Gankumon. However, we do not play any regular Gankumons in this deck. He has blocker, very good. If you do sometimes early game, can push this guys out and build a stack with Gankumon. You can actually have a very good protector on the board, which is very nice. When digivolving, you can play a Sistermon from your hand or trash for free, just like Jesmon X Antibody. Then if Gankumon is in his Digivolution sources, or if you have a Sistermon on play on the board until the end of your opponent's next turn, all your Digimon also gets extra 2000 DP, but cannot be returned to hand or deck by effects or have their DP reduced, giving a very good protection. And we mainly play this card as really for the extra spicy effect coming along into our level 7, where we have the 2 brand new Jesmon GX. Jesmon GX does a whole lot of things. 15k DP, super strong base. He can digivolve for 5 on top of a red or black Digimon generally, or you digivolve for 5 on top of a level 6 Royal Knight. Now, when digivolving, you may place 1 card with Royal Knight in this traits with a play cost of 13 or less from your hand or trash underneath this card, and then it gains its when digivolving effects. So we can see that we can always want to slide in our Gankumon X Antibody or our Jesmon X Antibody underneath this guy, so then we can use their effects over and over again. And then it also has Blitz. Not only that, he has all turns. He has piercing and blocker himself as well, and gains security +1 for every Royal Knight in his Digivolution traits. So very easily, he can be swinging for 3 checks all the time consistently, and even 4 checks. But yeah, Jesmon GX is super powerful, super great top end card for the archetype. Love this guy, and yeah, 2 is really all you need. Okay, now we're done and finished talking about all our Huckmons and our Royal Knights. Let's showcase you guys what we have for the Sistermon package. Now, before I talk about more, there's a lot of ways you guys can juggle around with the ratios, but the way I decided to come up with is the most standard base, where I have basically 2 of each. So we have the BT6 Sistermon Blanc with gives you on play draw, and it's the blocker, giving all your other Sistermons blocker, which is very, very great. And then we have the brand new Sistermon Blanc from the starter deck. Also really great because on play, you can trash one card from your hand, draw 2 cards, cycle a bit. Really nice, and also has the decoy for red and black specifically, once again giving the protection from effects. That's it for Sistermon Blanc. Let's talk about Sistermon Xiao. We have the good old BT6 Sistermon Xiao. This one on play gains a memory, effectively it being like a 3 cost, but if you do play via a Jesmon effect, you basically gain a memory, which is really good, giving all turns your Royal Knight extra 2000 DP to whether you need to swing over stuff or become a really strong top end is always nice. Then we have the starter deck Xiao. This one on plays also searches. You review the top 3 cards, add 1 Huckmon or Royal Knight, and then you trash the rest. If you review Sistermons, you get to trash them and set them up for your trash for later plays, which is great. Search for your Huckmons, and it gives your Jesmon Royal Knights reboot as well, which synergizes with your blockers if you ever do have them. Then last but not least, we have another Sistermon Xiao, which is from BT10. This one is very interesting because on play, you can actually Digivolve one of your Digimon with Royal Knights and its traits as long as it's still your turn. So if you're doing your Blitz combo, this works. And once again, I'll showcase you guys how to combo this card specifically with Jesmon X Antibody and GX potentially as well later on. But that's really the whole idea. And once per turn, your turn, when you do Digivolve into a Huckmon or Royal Knight, you get to gain 1 memory from it. So giving you extra plays. And yeah, all Sistermon Xiaos right here have 5k DP and very simple, 2 of each Sistermons for consistency and variety. So now let's talk about our Tamer and options. Tamer, we only play 1 Tai Kamiya. Tai is really actually just a flex card at the end of the day. You can swap it out for anything else that you much prefer, but I just like having a memory Tamer every now and then. There's sometimes in some matchups having a memory Tamer is very nice. I really do want to play 2 or 3 Tais, but it's just not needed. There's a lot of other cool cards and really viable, relevant cards that you should be playing instead, but that's why I still want 1 copy. Extra security +1 is always nice because you can potentially swing for like 5 checks on your opponent with him as well when you do pull off like crazy combos. But yeah, 1 memory Tamer is all we need. But that's it for our Tamer. Then now let's talk about our options. We have the 4 copies of From Master to Disciple. This card is incredibly efficient and so good for the deck that you have to play 4 copies of. First and foremost, it searches, revealing the top 3 cards of your deck, adding 1 Sistermon, Royal Knight, or Huckmon, and then trashing the rest. Great for setting up once again, but it has a delay which reduces the Digivolve cost next time for any Digimon that you Digivolve into it by 1, making you extend your combos where you can always very easily come up with a Bao Huckmon from raising, go into a Savior Huck, and then even go into a Jesmon for Blitz later on, which I'll showcase you guys, which is incredibly good. And it has a super good security effect, which is exactly the same as what it does in the main, searching, and then you get to place it in your battle area so you can use the delay for later on. Yeah, you guys have to play 4 copies no matter what. Last but not least, for more searching and consistency and for memory to make more plays, very similar to From Master to Disciple, we have the 2 red memory boosts right here. Just super good card. I like it a lot. And yeah. Okay, so that will be it for our 50 card main deck. Let's showcase you guys some other cards I considered or some other cards you guys may want to add into the deck and play inside as well, which are not included in the main deck. So the first and foremost will be the Huckmon from the starter deck itself. Generally, the Inheritable is great, but we really don't necessarily need it as much simply because we want to have our other Huckmons and prioritize over those instead, and there's not enough room for this guy, unfortunately. But also, your turn once per turn, being able to play, when you do play a Sistermon and its name, you gain a memory back. It's not very needed as well. It's, you know, once again, we don't really Digivolve and push out and, you know, play in the battle area. We usually sit in raising a little bit, and once we're ready, go for the big combos and search, then we sort of go for those plays. So yeah, we don't really get to resolve its normal effect as often, but you guys might want to add 1 or 2 if you guys really want to like that early game play. Next, moving into some options, we have 1 Oz Generics. This option is essentially free because you pay the 1 memory and you actually gain that 1 memory back, and that gives your Jesmon or your top end or your Savior Hug extra 2000 DP for the turn and piercing if ever needed. And that's actually really nice, and its security effect is like a pseudo hammer spark, and you gain a memory and then you add this card to your hand is super good. But once again, there's not enough deck space, so I did not include this card, but this is actually a pretty good add as well. This one, next one, very good recommendation that you guys should definitely consider is ADP. And there are just some matchups in this current meta where you do want to be swinging in very safely because your Jesmon can be prone to removal effects. Although you have a lot of protection generally in this deck, but you can't protect it all from de-digivolving effects and other stuff that basically like chaos degradation and whatnot. ADP just comes in handy and helps you out very greatly from there. So maybe attacking one is also not bad at all. And then we still have more options. Let's talk about some of these removal options that you guys could be playing in the deck as well. You guys may have noticed that the main deck is really all about straight gas, going into your combo as quickly as you can. And there's no defensive part to it whatsoever. You just want to go straight to your top end combo, go super wide, and that will sort of be your defense. And you guys might want to be including some defensive options so that you can have security bombs as just a safety net. Gaia Force being the best card so that you can remove anything that you want. Crimson Blaze, a very super good meta call where you can delete wide boards that are 6,000 DP or less and just counters the meta very nicely, and it can be very cost effective as well, and stops your opponents from playing Digimon with effects during until the end of their next turn, and very good for the mirror match as well. So yeah, these are the two other removal options you guys can consider. Okay, now that we got all the cards covered, as always, the favorite part of the video for all of you guys is the combo and how to play segment. So early stages of the game, let's just start off with talking about how you want to be building. You really want to just be building your stack. Now, but before you build your stack, let's talk about the searching. Hard playing this Huckmon is always just value because you get to get more targets and search. You want to be playing these sistermons. You know, this Blanc is okay because it just draws you one card, but this Blanc is a little bit better because you get to trash one and draw two. Or if you can play this Xiao right here, you can also search your top three, add one. Otherwise, from Master Disciple, best card, best starting card as well. Otherwise, it'll be Red Memory Boost. These cards you want to be playing in your early stages of the game to search and find your pieces. And what you really want to be building is then build your stack with the Huckmon that has Inheritable. And then you want to then go into your Bao Huckmon. You only have two options, one, the new one or the old one. Depending on your matchup, you get to pick and choose. If you know your opponent goes wide with lots of small DP Digimon, Bao Huckmon with the deletion would always be the better. If you know your opponent has strong one stack Digimon that's going to be very problematic later on, build the one that gives you extra 1000 DP. But anyways, in this case, let's just say we get to go into this Bao Huckmon here. But yes, while you're searching and doing your combos, you want to make sure you have enough memory to play. And really, sometimes 1 or 2 memory is all you need. What I also kind of like to do is chip away with some of my sistermons here in the early stages of the game, simply because that we can set ourselves up for trash and we can just apply a little bit of pressure in the early stages. If not, otherwise, if you have lots of sistermons and Huckmon present on the board, you can form like a blocker formation just for protecting until you can pop off as well. So really based on your preference and matchup on how you face against, but otherwise I also swing with my Huckmon there. Now, it really depends on what your memory gauge is like for the next play. Let's just say your opponent will always have to pass you to 1 memory, and if you have access to like more than 3 memories somehow with Red Memory Boost and from Master Disciple, you can actually then push out your Bao Huckmon and then Digivolve your Savior Huckmon right on top and then go on for the play. If not, there are times you might just have to Digivolve your Savior Huckmon in the raising to forgo the ability to attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon for the turn. So once again, evaluate your matchups, know what is really crucial that your opponent has on the board and decide based on there. But let's just say we can do the full combo because we have the pieces all together. We'll push out a Bao Huckmon. First, we would ideally, doesn't really matter which way you do it. You can pop the Red Memory Boost first to go to 3, and then you can then Digivolve into a Savior Huckmon right here for 3, going to 0, and then you can even pop the from Master Disciple to reduce your cost of going into your Jesmon. Now, we always do have this other Savior Huckmon right here. We're not going to really talk about this guy with the combo anymore, simply because the synergy of this new Savior Huckmon is actually so much better with this Jesmon, and chances are you don't always get this particular Savior Huck anyways. So now, you pass your opponent to 3 because you were Digivolving it for 3 instead of 4 because you used for Master Disciple to reduce the cost. Otherwise, sometimes you don't really need to. And then your Jesmon comes up. It has Blitz. You can swing with the Blitz. So what you want to do is resolve the effects one at a time. What I personally always like to do is actually resolve from bottom to top. So what I do is I'll draw 1 card with Gurimon and then I'll cycle with Huckmon. It doesn't matter which order you do that in, but just make sure you do them both. And then you also want to use your Bao Huckmon to pop something along with it. Sometimes you might use that first depending on the situation and matchup of what they have. And then I would try to use the Jesmon's effect to play a Sistermon from hand. that's where you get the best value. Let's just say we play the Sistermons CL, so we gain a memory back, buffing him up, so he'll get extra 3k with security +1 and an extra 2k with the CL. And then we can also use the Savior Huckmon to play one from trash specifically. And let's just say we play the good old blocker one, and then we get to draw one card. So 2 checks with lots of stuff, really great right there. That's a very basic starting combo. But we do have more combos to bridge upon. And let's then now talk about the X Antibody combo. Going back to this particular exact situation, your Jesmon is swinging, you're resolving all these effects, you cycle through your Huckmons. I always cycle through my Huckmon inheritable first to find more Sistermons. That way I have more options to play my Sistermons with the Jesmon and Savior Huck inheritable. Now, in this particular case, you would need these 2 cards right here. You need Jesmon X Antibody and Sistermon Xiao, this one from BT10. Now, what you want to do is, whether for one of the Jesmon or Savior Huckmon's effect, you do want to be playing this Xiao. Now, this Xiao's effect will activate and resolve, allowing you to digivolve into Jesmon X Antibody. At this moment, it's actually more ideal to play this Xiao from your hand with this Jesmon's effect, so that this Jesmon will gain its effect of extra 3000 and security +1 for the turn as well. Now, Xiao comes out so that you can digivolve into a Jesmon X Antibody. When attacking, you can also play another Sistermon, Xiao, and whatnot. Let's just say we play this one, and then we'll also get to resolve it on play, trash 1, draw 2. Now, we get to resolve the Jesmon X Antibody for when digivolving, play another Sistermon here at this point. Let's just play this brand new one here, and then again, cycle more pieces of what we need. At this moment, this Jesmon X Antibody can be swinging over for something that was suspended already, and then you gain piercing. If whatnot, otherwise, you basically do a lot of direct security checks with 2 extra security checks right here, and quite a lot of DP as well at the same time. Usually, now, once your turn ends, your Jesmon right here, because there's a Sistermon Xiao, he will gain reboot, and then there's also a decoy to also help protect it from effects as well. If not, so really just juggle around the different types of Sistermons that you need for the matchup and for the situation. Now, we can rewind a little bit even more. If this Jesmon X Antibody does survive until your next turn, we can now talk about the Jesmon GX combo. Lots of ways that you can be really playing with this Jesmon, which is really cool. Once again, you're swinging with Jesmon X Antibody. Let's just say if you play this Sistermon Xiao once again, you can be digivolving it when attacking. If not, otherwise, you sometimes can just straight up digivolve into your GX by itself. So let's just say you do, for whatever reason. You can say, let's attack, and then we have Savior Huck. Savior Huck lets us play a Sistermon from trash. We can gain a memory right here, which is really nice. And then we can also then digivolve, paying 5, into a Jesmon GX. Now, because we digivolved into a Jesmon GX, we can gain another memory with the Sistermon Xiao right here. And then we use his when digivolving to place either a Gankumon or another Jesmon X Antibody. So whatever you have in trash or hand, whatever you like, and whatever inheritable of when attacking you want to gain from Jesmon GX, you can place it under. So let's just say we place Gankumon underneath. Gankumon will let you play another Sistermon once again. So let's just say we play this one, and then we gain another memory back, and a whole lot of crazy plays you can actually be doing with this as well. Let's just say, even say you had a From Master to Disciple earlier and you popped it so that you reduced the cost by 1, so effectively you will still be at 0 memory. And then your Gankumon will give your coverage with protection, extra 2k to all your Sistermons. And then now your Jesmon GX will be swinging in for 1+1 check for every Royal Knight. So you have 1 Jesmon X Antibody, you have a Jesmon, and you have a Gankumon. So that's +3 checks, making it 4 checks in total. And like I mentioned earlier, if you do have like a tie right here, you can actually be swinging in for 5 checks in total. And if you're able to retain your turn, you go so wide, you can just easily swing in with one of these Sistermons for a game with this full-blown combo. And that's just like super insane. You guys can see how powerful the top end finisher really is. And it's just super flexible with your level 6s and your level 7s towards the end. And then you just so much pressure on the board, which is absolutely insane. That will conclude for my very own deck building strategy and in-depth guide for the fully upgraded optimal Jesmon Deck Profile video. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. Overall, the Jesmon deck for BT10 is insanely strong, and I'm super happy for its comeback. The deck has so many tools that lets you play super aggressive and is very consistent at doing so relatively quickly. While at the same time, you can go wide and flood the board with tons of sistermons, where each and every individual one provides you a unique effect to either counter various matchups or extend your plays even further. And that is exactly why I think Jesmon is one of the best decks of the BT10 format. But that's not all. There's still a lot of other really cool and powerful decks in the BT10 format, and I just can't wait to share with you guys. So if you guys are just as excited to see those videos, then definitely hit that subscribe button right now, turn on that notification bell to stay tuned. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video. This is Avault, signing